Good evening. I'm delighted to welcome today Monika Feil, who is joining us from Nuremberg to do a Nign day and talk a little bit about Klezmer and Nigunim and that sort of thing. Monika, do you want to share with us your first Nign?
Yeah. Just I want to say hello. Nice to see you all. And thanks, Ilana, for that wonderful project. I like that idea to create a sound archive in the web available for everybody of this stuff, which isn't, you cannot hear that. And most of the pieces you can't hear. And I like that idea. And it's a great honor and pleasure to be part of this. So the first piece I'm playing is Nign number 38. It's a Tish-nign, and the information is that it's from the Kisselgov expedition in 1913. The Nign is performed by Yitzchok Berman. He's a Baltfile, a prayer leader in the the town, or I think little town in Olika in the Volyn province. That's in the north of Ukraine. And the cylinder is number 291. Yeah, a Tish-nign.
Wow, that was epic, Monika. That was approaching the Russian standard of epic there, like Alexei did. Fantastic.
He was my inspiration.
He is inspiring.
So maybe we could talk about what kind of piece that is. So it's called a Tish-nign, but it has some marching feeling a little bit. So maybe at that point, I want to introduce my special guest, because before the start of the project, Ilana suggested that everybody of us fiddlers should bring a colleague, a friend for talking, but until now nobody did. So yesterday I asked Ilana if I should, and she said yes, you should. And I bring the person who is responsible that I became a klezmer fiddler. Because before I met him, I was only a classical and singer of Yiddish songs. And so in 1996, I went to Vienna to go to a concert of a klezmer group called Budowitz, which I didn't know up to then. And then I met Josh, and since then we are friends, and he encouraged me to go to class camp. He said, Monika, to bring your fiddle. At class camp, he made me play because I just was there for singing, I thought. So, and at class camp, I studied with Steve Greenman and with Alicia Swiegels. And since then, I'm a klezmer fiddler. And it's Josh Horowitz, a very nice person, a good friend, and a maven in klezmer music, and a cymbal and accordion player. Hi, Josh. Nice.
Well, thank you. And I'm so glad that you're on this panel because, Monika, she was the first violinist that I knew of in Europe that was doing klezmer violin. I didn't know about you, Ilana, but in Europe, I mean, in Central Europe. And Monika was, I think, she was ahead of the class in that. So I'm so happy that she's here.
So maybe, Josh, what do you think about my idea that it could be a marching piece?
Yeah, it sure does sound like one, especially the opening motive, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. It's a horn call, and it's, the whole rhythm of it. And there's so many marches in the, Hasidic world. And it could be either a wedding march or, a Tish-nign, which it is here, which is kind of a feeling of victory and pride and, victory over evil or whatever. But yeah, so it's sounds like a march to me.
Yeah. So I like the modes, in classical music you have so many pieces with Fregisch and Misheberach and the minor pieces, and it has such a, how do you say, Strahlen, can you help me?
Kind of a glowing or
glowing, yes, and I like that joy. It's joy, this piece. So in the first time I saw the sheet music, and I thought, oh, what's this? When I first played it, it didn't talk to me, and it took some time until I got this. But now it's such, I like it. I will do it. This piece, I'm sure.
I love the way you played the open string. When you were doing it, it sounded almost like a drum beat in a marching band, which I thought was just great. And you did it even when you modulated too. You used that lower string, and that's really nice for self-accompaniment on the violin and very effective.
So I thought about how could it be accompanied, and I thought about, for example, Hungarian bands who do this kind of
Duvu. duvu rhythm. Yeah, it's when you keep the bow on the string and it goes.
Yes.
That would be my first instinct if I were trying to do it.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Without the marching band feel.
Okay. So, yeah. Are there questions from anybody?
Maybe they can think of their questions while you play your next tune, Monika.
Okay. So, my next tune is Niggun number 99. It's also from the Kisselgov expedition in 1913. And it's in a town called Dubno, also in the Volyn province in Ukraine. Yeah, and the performer is Yisroel Freeman, also about Viele, prayer leader who adopted this melody from Jossel Talner. Yes, that's the information I have. Cylinder number 538.
Gorgeous.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think this is one of the ones where there was an original recording, isn't there? I'm just putting up the link there. It was number 30 on that page, I think. Did you have a chance to listen to it?
Yes, I listened to it. I mean, also the first piece, there was a link to the wax cylinder recording. But both I tried first without to see what the difference is. So, but I guess I admit the recording was very helpful.
Well, it's something we've talked about a lot in this series, isn't it?
Yes. So thank you, Ilana, for giving me 2 pieces with recordings.
Totally random. We've got a question here. In previous sessions, we've heard of children being introduced to klezmer. There was a program in Chicago they were talking about, and Roger's asking, in your part of Germany, are children learning klezmer at all?
Oh no, I don't think so. Maybe, I mean, in Germany there's a great festival, Yiddish Summer Weimar, and I think last year there have been workshops for children too. Yeah, so I don't know what happens in the Jewish communities, but I think they normally do a little bit different music than the East European klezmer style. So more Israeli, more American, my experience. I don't know.
Any other questions at this point? Josh, did you have any thoughts that you wanted? Oh, Josh has his hand up. Sorry.
Oh no, I have a question. I'd love to know how you approach the piece when you first go at it, Monika. Like, what do you do? You saw the page and you heard the recording. What's the first thing you do? Like, how you go about learning this?
So, I mean, after I heard before I heard the recording, I tried to play the notes, and maybe 5 or 10 times. And the first time they don't talk to me, and it gets better when I play it more often. And then I listen to the recording, and I think, so for example, all the tempo, what Beregovski writes about tempo is very different from the recording. It's much faster, and my feeling was, oh, that's too fast. I feel it's slower. So I mean, for example, the first piece is he says tempo 104 beats per minute, but on the recording it was 64, so it's 60% from the, and that's really a difference. But my feeling was it is slower, and then I hear it and then I start to sing. So, and then I go from singing to playing, and then when I'm ready with practicing, I go to kitchen and do the dishes and sing it. That's my approach.
Do you have an inherent mistrust of the page? I mean, you're playing it very differently than from the way it's written on the page, and you also notice a discrepancy between what Beregovski wrote and what you heard on the recording. Does that make you mistrust the written page in general?
No. I mean, you never play what is written down on sheet music in klezmer music. It's just a help not to forget melodies. You never play the rhythm which is in sheet music, or do you?
No.
No, I learned from you.
No, but it's interesting because that's a mistake. I mean, if Beregovski is really writing that tempo marking and it's something else, yeah. It's either that or the cylinder is moving at a slower pace when it's being dubbed.
Yeah, I mean, he also in both pieces where I have the notes and the recordings. There, in the first piece, there were 2 bars missing in the third part, and I think in the other piece, also a bar was missing, so I wrote my own version of the piece to learn it. I think he was not so careful when he did that. Is my opinion.
Kurt Bjorling actually has an opinion, which is that sometimes there was more than one recording. Transcription is sometimes from a different recording than the one that we hear, but maybe they wore it out because they listened to it so much, so that the informant might have sung it more than once, and the versions might be slightly different.
Yes.
So does anybody know if it's planned that all these wax rolls are available, maybe in web? Do they plan that? That really would be great.
It's hard to say, I think. I mean, there are various... I don't know which of these are still existing. With the instrumental music, I think there's a better idea in the community of what's possible. But it's an expensive process. It's a very time-consuming process. The archive, these cylinders live in an archive in Kiev, at the Vernadsky Library. And some of them, if you follow the link I put up there, you can find there's an archive of about 2,000 recordings from various different expeditions between 1910 and 1950, maybe, roughly speaking.
So a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Somebody has to curate it to choose what to put on each CD. And the first one that I bought was very... it had a bit of this, bit of that, bit of spoken word, bit of instrumentals, some songs, and it's not useful. So
so for me it was really an important experience, because in the past when a piece didn't speak to me after playing it, sometimes normally I took another. So I was forced to really go deeper into that, and I have learned a lot about it, about imagination, how it could sound, and from my experience with the music. It was really in the first part a hard process, but now I really enjoyed that. I will do it again.
Well, I can send you some more, Monika. But I mean, the process was that because I had 150 tunes and 35 people, I thought if I offer them all to choose their own, A, it will take forever for everybody to decide which ones they like, and B, some will never get recorded. So I said, okay, you have these 5.
And that's okay. That's okay.
Some people sent some back, so then we have some swapping over.
Okay. So
tune, Monika.
That's very smart.
We know our friend.
We know people, yeah.
Monika, play something else. Spiel mal.
Okay, so I could play a piece not from this collection, but could let you hear my tsvey strunes fiddle. That's a specialty in Eastern European folk music. So I don't know if you can see that the E and the A string are close together, and the A string is tuned down to E, so you have an octave here, and I can play this kind, and you hear two notes at the same time in octaves. So that's a piece called Bugici's Terkischer. Terkischer is a rhythm, bum, badam, bum, bum, badam, bum. And you have to imagine the band playing this rhythm to it. No, again.
Wow, fabulous.
Yeah, it makes a lot of noise. It's not so easy to play these two strings.
Well, it makes you sound like you have amazing technique and you're playing these double stops. Monika, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been wonderful to hear you play and hear about your experience.
Thanks, Ilana, for doing that. I think it's a lot of work to do all the technique, all the announcements, all the web loading up and down, and it's great you do that. Thank you a lot.
It's worth it when I can enjoy music like this, and thanks to Josh also for joining us today.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Where can we give a donation? Can you put a link on the chat?
Link back in there, yeah, absolutely.
In there, yeah, that would be great.
I don't expect you to give a donation, Josh, but
what? Say that again.
Not you.
Give a donation.
Oh, no, I have had the same problem when I've been hosting these things that friends have been giving money. It's like, oh no, it wasn't meant for you, but everybody's a friend. So, but no, I would like to. But this is wonderful, Ilana and Monika. I could listen to you all day.
I really to you too.
Oh, yeah. Too bad we're all so far away.
Yeah.